Hi guys, my name is Ramirez Sanchez. I'm presenting this video for extra credit on behalf of Miss Mahaffey's English Comp 2 class. I wanted to explain a little bit more about cultural materialism and how it's important today in our society. So here we go. This theory is cultural materialism. It was founded by an anthropologist by the name of Marvin Harris. Marvin Harris began his long journey in New York City, where he was born and attended Columbia University. He traveled after he graduated from the university. He went around and traveled with his mentor to Brazil, his mentor being Charles Wagley, another anthropologist. While in Brazil, they did a study on Bosnian tradition, which shows the ideology founded by Franz Boas, which is actually that person right there. That's Franz Boas, the father of anthropology. But ironically enough, Marvin Harris would later go on to reject the very fundamentals of Bosnian tradition. Harris then traveled to Mozambique, where he did a study that completely altered his philosophy and brought about the idea of cultural materialism. In order to support his theory, Marvin Harris traveled to India, where he did research on the role of sacred cows within the Hindu tradition. After India, Marvin Harris briefly traveled to Mexico, where he studied Aztec cultures and the role of protein deficiencies in cannibalism. Overall, it was the accumulation of his journeys that led him to his major idea, cultural materialism. But what is cultural materialism, right? To get as layman as I possibly can, Marvin Harris basically says that humans have certain needs. Humans have needs. Those needs can be in the form of anything, really. It can be food, water, sex, sleep. It can be anything that humans need to survive. And it depends on how human beings organize those needs that yield a specific culture. It's meant to be a joke, but if you didn't laugh, it's okay. But in 1968, when Marvin Harris introduced cultural materialism through his first novel, The Rise of Anthropological Theory, tongue twister, he didn't explain cultural materialism in such simplicity. Rather, he gave society a framework which consisted of 3 distinct layers, like ogres. It's not funny. It's not funny. This is your infrastructure. This one right here, that is your infrastructure. That's the basic human needs of survival and reproduction we were talking about earlier. This is the core of every society. And then this is your structure. Your structure is found in every civilization as a result of the infrastructure. It's how people choose to organize themselves, their laws, their government, their economics, and even their domestic kinships. Now this right here is the superstructure. This layer consists of your arts, your beliefs, your values, and your religion. And basically what Marvin Harris argued is that once your infrastructure changes, your superstructure changes. Moving along to my first example. I almost smacked myself in the face. Marvin Harris believed that his theory could be applied to the veneration of cows in India. Cultural materialism argues that cows in India are more useful as a labor source and for their dairy than they are for eating, and that's why they're protected. Because agriculture became a dominating force in India, their infrastructure changed. As a result, their superstructure, or their religion in this case, also changed. For his next novel, it's called Cannibals and Kings. Marvin Harris discussed the development of pork as the taboo food in Middle Eastern society. Because Arabs lived in dry climate, pigs could not graze grass, therefore they had to compete with humans for grain. Marvin Harris argued that it was the food and environment within the infrastructure that led to the taboo of pigs within the superstructure, which was Islam in this case. Also, we have his last book, which was Marvin Harris. It was Cultural Materialism, yeah. Marvin Harris eventually published all of his work in a novel appropriately named Cultural Materialism. Overall, he was a pretty neat anthropologist, but he did receive a lot of criticism for his work because he took a very scientific approach in studying the development of culture. I wanted to read off these quotes because they're actually pretty relevant to the topic. The first quote from his first book is, "There are very important and practical issues raised by the following. This alternative route raised by following." Okay, let me just start over, okay? "There are very important and practical issues raised by following this alternative route, which says, let's look to material conditions, to the systems of production, to the needs that human beings have, and to competing alternative solutions to the satisfaction of those needs." Marvin Harris. And then his other quote was, "Here you do have forests where pigs could be raised by letting them root about in the forest for a good part of the year. Therefore, you have a different attitude toward them compared with that continues to exist in the Middle East." Marvin Harris. And the last one, also very important. Ethnography literally means a portrait of people. And am I saying that right?
Ethnography.
Ethnography is a written description of a particular culture, the customs, beliefs, and behavior based on information collected through fieldwork. And today, cultural materialism still plays a role in our society, meaning, in other words, it is still a hot topic today because we see it everywhere. We see it. I use Beyonce's video as an example. Do you remember the name of I haven't seen that video in so long. I don't remember what it's called.
Is it Lemonade?
It's Formation. Isn't it Formation?
Oh, it could be Formation. I think it's Formation.
Maybe it's Formation. But Beyonce uses the police department basically to express her feelings on how, Black Lives Matter and how the police have just been taking advantage of that throughout society. And that's basically what she tried to evoke in her video, was all the things that have been going wrong in society through her music video, which is what cultural materialism is. It's putting our perspective in visual aspects of the media. Basically what it is. And that's my presentation on cultural materialism. I hope you guys have a better understanding of what this theory means and what it's trying to convey and what it affects and all that. So, thank you.